Hello there and welcome to the channel, welcome to the video where we're going to describe, discuss and analyse Vigor for the Nintendo Switch. So a good few months ago I applied to take part in the closed beta for this game, and I was one of the relatively small group of people who was successful in their application. And actually, the very first video that I made for this channel was on this game during the beta. So I think it's safe to say that I've been looking forward to this game releasing to the public. So if you're new to the channel, how I usually do these videos is I give a brief description of the game itself, then I pile up all the negative aspects, then the positive, and then I conclude, and hopefully that will assist you in your decision on whether you want to give this game your time or not. So what is Vigor? Well, it's a free-to-play online looter shooting game by Bohemian Interactive, and it was originally developed for the Xbox One. So as of the time of this recording, the game is only featured on the Xbox One and now the Nintendo Switch, so it's not on the PS4 and it's not on the PC. Well, on various forums, I've noticed a lot of people asking, is this a battle royale, like Fortnite, or is it a team deathmatch shooter, like Call of Duty? And the answer is, it's probably neither, or maybe a mix of both. And personally I would argue that's a good thing, because there aren't a lot of games like that, and especially on the Nintendo Switch console. Vigor is set in post-apocalyptic Norway. And no, that doesn't mean a zombie apocalypse, or super mutants like the Fallout games. The developers went for a more somewhat realistic approach. And by that I mean heavy radiation and limited supplies. After completion of this tutorial, each player begins at their own hub, which is a little rundown shack. And the aim of the game is to go out into the world and collect as many resources as you can so you can upgrade your hub. However, this is easier said than done, because when you go out to these open worlds, you'll be met with other players online trying to do the exact same. And I can imagine how many people would compare that to a battle royale game. But what makes that different is it's not a case of the last man standing wins. There are various ways you can play this game. If you're a newer player, one of the best ways you could play the game is to simply jump in, gather as much loot and resources as possible, and then leave, through the various exits all over the map. If you've got a bit more experience, then why not wait for the airdrop? Because once it lands, it offers some of the best loot in the game. However, if you get that loot, then other players can see exactly where you are on the map and they'll hunt you down. Having that prize loot and trying to leave the map as quickly as possible can be one of the most stressful things you can do, with other players hunting you down and waiting at all the exits just so they can get the loot from you. Another way in which many people play is they just wait, hunt or look for other players to kill, and that adds to the challenge and the suspense of the overall game. Okay, so now we're going to look at the negative aspects. And as you might have already noticed, the game doesn't look great. That's not to say it's a complete blurry mess, but I think it is capable of looking a little bit better. The textures can be very poor. It's hard to see distant objects, and that might also include enemies. A common problem on the Switch console is that trees can look very blurry. And things like your character or your guns are just not very well detailed at all. And where this might not bother everyone, the game is cross-platform, so you're going to be playing with players from the Xbox, and if they have that advantage of being able to see things in a distance better than you, then that's going to affect how you get on in game. What I'll say is not all the maps look terrible. The snowy maps are the ones that look particularly bad. Another issue that has to be said, and is a common problem with free-to-play games, is that a lot of things that you can unlock through levelling up are stuck behind a paywall and require that battle pass if you want to unlock them. That's not an issue that would usually bother me with free-to-play games, and I'm actually quite happy to give some money to Saber Interactive. But one of the slight problems I have is that you might notice that XP booster in the video currently. Being able to level up by paying your own money, I'd kinda say that was almost pay to win, and it's not something I really want to support. But that's about the extent of it, and you can unlock a lot of great things without putting a penny in this game, and you could probably get on very well in this game without having to put a penny into it. So it's really up to you what you want to do. And the final issues that I'm going to highlight that I've noticed through my gameplay are that there are connection issues from time to time, and there are also glitches from time to time. But so far nothing game breaking. So now it's time to put aside that negativity and look to the pros, because there are a lot in this game. Okay, so the first pro that we're going to highlight is that the game will be free to play. Currently at time of recording, you can only get the Founders Pack, which is $17.99, and that gives you early access and a few wee goodies here and there, nothing too exciting. But it is due to release for free shortly. And then I think it's worth highlighting that developers did listen to a lot of the feedback from the beta testers. For example, the frame rate I'd say is drastically improved. You'll find that when you're at the hub, where your cabin is, that it doesn't sit very nicely at all, round about the mid-20s on average. But when you're in the open world, it sits at a very perfectly smooth 30 frames per second with very, very rare drops here and there. Another issue that a lot of people brought up was the visuals in portable mode. However, it's good news. What I've realised since the official release is that between portable and docked mode, there's now very little difference. As I said, there are connection issues here and there, but for the most part they seem to be fine. And in this game, they made it easy so you can link up with a friend that's also playing on their Nintendo Switch and you can dive in as a team and play together. So the final positive aspect I'm going to highlight is the game itself. There is a lot of walking about, and a lot of doing nothing to be honest, apart from looting here and there. But I'd say that adds to the overall suspense. As I'm sneaking around the map, trying to keep a low profile, you never really know if someone's actually watching you, just waiting to take a perfect shot with a sniper from distance. Because speaking of snipers, there's a lot of options in terms of different weapons and guns that you can use. You can even use crossbows, and I find that really satisfying. I really enjoy the gameplay in terms of shooting. It seems to be quite smooth, and it's very satisfying when you get a kill. And if the slow-paced gameplay isn't quite for you, there is a faster, almost team deathmatch mode you can choose from as well. However, I haven't really given that much time so far myself. So, to conclude, should you play Vigor on the Nintendo Switch? Well, I think you know what I'm going to say because I always say this, but that's pretty much up to you. The fact that it doesn't look probably nearly as good as the Xbox version. That if you want the best cosmetic items, you're going to have to put money into the game. And with that money, you can also buy XP boosts, which isn't something I really enjoy personally. And that there are a few connection issues from time to time, a few glitches here and there, and some drops in frame rate. However, there are many positives to this game. It's free to play, and you can still have a great experience without even putting a penny into it. The developers listened to a lot of feedback, and they improved many issues, such as the overall frame rate, and the visuals in handheld mode, which have seen drastic improvement. And the final positive, which I highlighted, was the game itself. There's a lot of enjoyment to be had, and a lot of replayability. Although slow-paced at times, I find that only adds to the tension. You never know when you're being watched, when you might die, or when you might come across someone that you can kill. For when you do die, you lose all your loot, which is a hell of a pain in the arse, but when you get that kill, it's such a satisfying feeling when you can loot the other player. One final point that I should highlight, and I wouldn't regard it as a positive or negative aspect really, is that this is an online only game. So if you're planning on playing this on the go, you're going to need a Wi-Fi connection. So, I'm really enjoying Vigor. I think there's a lot of replayability, and I can see myself putting hundreds of hours into this game. And I really hope this video has been helpful in any way, whether that's informing you of the game itself, or if it's helped persuade your decision on whether or not you wanted to play it. And that about does it for today. If you made it this far, then thank you very much, it's greatly appreciated. If you have any opinions, any feedback, then please leave them in the comment section below.